So I keep getting this video recommended me to. It was this video called Overwatch: How to Kill a Video Game. But you know what? Let's get a little further, okay? How about how do you kill a franchise? Well, there are many franchises that have been killed over the years. Even though they do sell, Star Wars and Pokemon, for example, and even then, that's like Pokemon Sword and Shield, The Last of Us Part 2 still sells the fastest, but also probably be the most returned game in there. And yet, it has been approximately 1% higher of Uncharted 4. Oh my gosh, it's a big record. 1%. 1% higher than the last, and then Uncharted 4. Okay, making a part in yep. Basically, second best selling game for the week as a report notes, and yeah. But how do you kill a franchise so easily? Okay, Overwatch is not a franchise yet, so we can't call Overwatch a franchise. But The Last of Us is now considered a franchise. There's 2 games in the franchise and a DLC. Well, I'll tell you what. If you have seen these scenes in The Last of Us Part 2, I have seen 2 of the I have seen 3 scenes in The Last of Us, more specifically the part with the awful. I've seen the awful scene with Abby. That scene was awful. The golf scene. Yep. Well, in the first 2 hours of The Last of Us Part 2, one of the most prominent characters of the first game, Joel, was brutally killed by Abby. Only for revenge, and basically, spoilers for the ending of The Last of Us Part 2, if anyone cares at this point, oh yeah, Abby gets let go. And also, Abby's probably one of the ugliest character designs in gaming history. Only being behind freaking Bubsy the Bobcat and the Great Mighty Pooh. Yep. Those are the only characters that are uglier than The Last of Us Part 2. Yep. And yeah, The Last of Us Part 2 is how you kill a video game franchise, okay? How you kill a video game franchise. So let's just look at Metacritic, for example, okay? Let's just look at Metacritic for the first game of The Last of Us franchise, okay? Both games have the same rating, ironically, okay? And the remaster on the PS4. This is the score of the first Last of Us game, and it had the same score as the second game, 9.1. It means everybody likes the first game. Congratulations, Naughty Dog, you actually made a good game. The first good game since Crash Bandicoot 3. I haven't played the Uncharted games, though. But yeah. I actually haven't really either, but yeah. I played the Crash Bandicoot games, and they're pretty good games. So, yeah. I haven't really played the Uncharted games because, they're not really my thing. You know, I played the Tomb Raider games. That's the closest thing I played to Uncharted, and those games are good. So, yeah, I'm going to say by default, Uncharted is good. So, yeah, after making the masterpiece of franchises called The Last of Us, the first game, and of course, the Uncharted franchise was beloved by everybody, the first game had such high scores, 9.1. How can a sequel to such a beloved game be so bad? It's even listed as the second best PS3 game of 2014, only being behind GTA 5, which, it's only behind GTA 5, which is GTA 5, which is not surprising because everybody except for, GTA 5 is one of the most beloved games of all time as well. And but again, The Last of Us has similar scores to the movies like Joker. But then we go back to the sequel. Boo, 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 boo. 3.7. Oh yeah, do you know what The Last of Us Part 2 still has a lower score than Sonic 06? Yes, a lower score. Okay? And all the positive review scores are just not trusted. Because all normal people know that they ruined the story of the first game and butchered it so they can push their agenda in the game. They introduced terrible characters like Abby that nobody likes. I won't be surprised in the future people make most hated video games characters list again once people get back to that. And Abby will probably be on most of those lists because she deserves to be on those lists because Abby is one of the worst characters ever introduced in video game history. Only being behind Bubsy, May from Overwatch, and Monica. Those are the only characters that are worse than Abby. and also Professor Pesta from Viva Pinata. Don't forget that guy, because he ruins everything. And Princess Peach, because he's Princess Peach and she's annoying. But yep, this is considered the best PS4 game. You gotta be joking me. I don't think this game's gonna go to like a 5. Don't expect this game to ever have a 9.1, because that will never happen. That the score will probably top out at around 4.1, kind of like how Artemis Fowl did on IMDb. The score will probably top out at some point, and it will probably not change at all. Yes, the score has went up to a measly 3.7. But that's after all of the Sony fanboys are giving this game a 10 out of 10 just because it's on the PlayStation, which is stupid. You still don't give a game a 10 out of 10 just because it's on a certain console. I guess next we gotta give Bubsy the Warrior Strike Back a 10 out of 10 because it's on the PS4. And that game's a pile of garbage. But yep, The Last of Us is how you kill a franchise. And it's not the only franchise that has suffered the same fate. Star Wars as well. Okay, Star Wars, the franchise. Star Wars used to, and now let's go to other franchises. How you kill a franchise. Well, I think The Last of Us Part 2 got a inspiration from Star Wars The Last Jedi. Yes, the game that this movie that single-handedly killed Star Wars. Okay, the movie that single-handedly killed off Star Wars. Okay. The Last Jedi is one of the, and yeah, I think The Last of Us Part 2 is probably going to end around like a 4.3, like The Last Jedi did, but again, The Last Jedi is not as hated as The Last of Us Part 2. And yep, The Last Jedi is kind of one of the most hated Star Wars movies, and one of the most loved. It is basically divided in the middle. According to IMDb and the critics, it is one of the most loved Star Wars movies, okay? But it's one of the most hated Star Wars movies by the fans of the original trilogy. Which, yeah, I don't really think this movie is hated by everybody. Not everybody hates this movie, especially the critics who said it's one of the best movies of the year and one of the best movies of this decade and even of all time. Especially you, Rotten Tomatoes, which you suck, Rotten Tomatoes, because you're a pile of poop company. But yeah, The Last Jedi is, again, it killed off Star Wars. It killed off a franchise that everybody was excited for to come back. Star Wars, we can finally have that magical experience, especially older people like, oh my god, Star Wars is back. I can finally get my kids to see a new experience Star Wars in the theaters. But guess what? Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker in Episode 9, I'll consider out some of the most hated Star Wars movies of all time. Even worse than The Phantom Menace. The Phantom Menace has higher reviews than The Rise of Skywalker and Episode 9. Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, and of course, The Last Jedi was even on the site like the top 10s. The top 10s rated, and look at this is The Phantom Menace. Still has a 6.1. 6.1. That is higher than The Rise of Skywalker and The Last Jedi, because at least the prequels didn't take a giant dump on the original trilogy, okay? At least the prequels didn't take a giant dump on the original Star Wars trilogy, and said, okay, let's just leave Star Wars. And Star Wars is the 5th highest grossing media franchise of all time. And Disney found a way to kill Star Wars, okay? And yeah, Star Wars, and yeah, you don't see anyone being hyped for the new Star Wars movie that's being made by Taika Waititi. The only thing that seems people excited for is this new Star Wars game coming out. Which it's going to be around the original trilogy. It's because people actually like those characters. Nobody likes the boring characters like Rey. No one liked, and actually people liked Finn until they made his character a side character, basically, in episode 8 and 9. They basically ruined such an interesting character and made him basically a side character, especially in the artwork and signer. But yep, this is how you kill a franchise. Both Star Wars, both Naughty Dog and Lucasfilm style. You get a bunch of woke people to make your movie or game, and you basically ruin it. And yep, the episode may have Jar Jar Binks, but Jar Jar Binks at least had personality, at least had character to all of the wooden pranks that The Rise of Skywalker and episode and of course The Last Jedi brought us. Characters like Holdo, Rose Tico, and let's not forget Rey, that are even more universal, even the main character Rey and Kylo Ren and Snoke, characters that are more universally hated than Jar Jar Binks. And especially L337. Yep, that character as well that nobody likes. And yeah, and even on the more pulled most best Star Wars characters, Jar Jar Binks was higher than Rose Tico. Showing that the prequels have better character, at least Jar Jar Binks had character, unlike the boring prank that was Rose Tico that was inserted to waste our time watching The Last Jedi. So that's basically it. Goodbye. That's how you ruin a franchise.